Hey everyone, how you doing? I am Mark and we are back with episode 17 of Minecraft Stoneblock. I had a bit of a recording snafu which lost me, 20 minutes of recording from this episode. So there's some stuff that I've done that I want to run through real quick before we get started with what I actually want to do today. And the first thing is, in our machine room down here, nothing has really changed. We have our metallurgic infuser, which we use to set up our new power system. And we have these machines, which we set up before. However, I have upgraded all these machines because they were really slow. So to upgrade thermal machines, you apply the upgrade kits, and then you add augments that do various things. We're just using the speed upgrades, which increase power usage and speed up overall processing speed. And I put 2 of these in the pulverizer, in the induction smelter, and in the redstone furnace. There might actually be a better augment for the redstone furnace. I'll have to look at that and see. But there are a bunch of augments that do different things. There are some specialty augments that change the functionality of the machines, and if you want to see one of those sort of in action, this energetic infuser is on our sort of standalone network. It's not connected to the AE system or anything, but it's primarily here to give me an easy way to repair my tools. And the reason it does that is because it has this flux reconstruction in it, which basically turns power into tool damage. Or tool repair capability. And you feed this with Essence of Knowledge, which you get by pumping solidified XP into a magma crucible, which melts it down to Essence of Knowledge. And you can see that this is just automatically set to pump the output to the left. And this gets its, well, this is set up to be crazy. This should actually be like that. Well, it should be like, I guess it accepts, I didn't even look at that, but I guess it's going to accept its liquid input from any side no matter what. So, anyhow, as long as this is pumping out, I think we're okay. I'll have to test that. Anyhow, this has been upgraded too. It has an augment, and you don't have any augment slots on these until you actually apply these kits. So I went ahead and set up, we look for kit in here, and we just look at items we can craft. You can see that I set up a couple auto crafting recipes for kits, so we can just make those whenever we want. I did not go ahead and make the 3rd upgrade kit because we need to make cryothium dust for that, and that requires snowballs, and I believe, yeah, it requires snowballs and some liquid XP or Essence of Knowledge. So we're going to have to do a similar setup to this kind of thing. We're going to have to melt solidified XP, pump it into the fluid exchanger, and to make those blizz powder cryothium dust that we're going to need. Is it cryothium dust? Yeah, it's the cryothium dust we need for these upgrades before we can upgrade our machines further. So that was sort of phase 1 of what I did in the lost episode, if you will. The other thing I did was I started looking at Supremium armor. And Supremium armor we make with Supremium ingots. So I have, and these are basically from Superium, from Intermedium, from Prudentium, from Inferium, from base essence ingots. So it's a big long chain of crafting, just like the essences from Mystical Agriculture are. And I set up all the auto crafting for those ingots. You can see they're all right here: Intermedium, Superium, Supremium, Prudentium, Inferium, and base. So we can make all that stuff. And I don't remember how many I made. Did I make? Stored craftable. I did. I went ahead and auto-crafted all these. This should be enough for our armor, but if we look at the armor recipes, the other things we need are these armor cores, and again, I went ahead and made all the crafting recipes for the armor cores. And if you look at those, they have the same exact pattern. They take a bunch of materials plus the previous level core, and they all start with the base ingot. So I think we can craft these. We only need 4 because we need 1 for each piece of armor. So let's see what we're missing. This was about where we were last time. So I've caught us up. We are missing some leather. And so we need to figure out how to make leather. And we're probably getting some from our mob farm. We can make leather in an atomic reconstructor. That wouldn't be too terribly hard. Or a drying basin. And the drying basin, that's pretty easy. So let's do this. Let's make a drying basin, which is super simple. And we need some rotten flesh. And I'm just going to grab some and throw this down over here. And we stick, I don't know, we can only stick one in at a time. And it sits there and works for a while. And that's pretty fast. So I'm going to make these quickly so we can move on with our armor creation. And while this happens, I did go ahead and add a second gas burning generator to our power setup downstairs, and we'll take a quick look at that at some point today, just to make sure things are still running. And I want to check our wheat supply and make sure that is still holding steady and giving us enough wheat to keep that running. In fact, we can look at that right now. We can look at wheat, and we have 2048, which is the capacity of that wheat drawer downstairs. So I can stick that stuff in there, and now we should be able to craft the 4 of these we need. I think I made enough. And it does take a while to calculate that because, there was one other thing that I wanted to cover before we dive into this. This is using 2000 plus Inferium, which it's combining into a bunch of Supremium and Prudentium and Intermedium and Superium. Each of those combines is using a Master Infusion Crystal, which is this. So the Master Infusion Crystals, we have 4 in the system, but that's a bottleneck because each ME interface, if we recall, if we look down here, there's an ME interface in the middle of this layout, and there are 4 molecular symbols attached to it. So each ME interface, and because our crafting processors actually have 4 processors in them, we can do 4 parallel operations at a time. So we need more Master Infusion Crystals because if we're doing these, let's look at it again. This recipe is going to be running 4 at a time. And that's going to take all our crystals, which means that this recipe and all these recipes are basically stuck waiting for an infusion crystal to come free before they can actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few infusion crystals. And I think I made the Supremium we need for this. Let's go ahead and just stick 2 more of these into our system. I don't want to use too many. Because I don't want to use all that Supremium. So now if we make armor cores. The recipe is not really going to change other than it's going to use all 6 available crystals. But it'll run faster because it's going to be able to do more operations in parallel. So I'm going to start this. And if we look, you can see that it's running pretty quickly, and it's using a variable number of crystals. And if we go downstairs, the other change I made in the interim was, you can see these are all the Prudentium. I did go ahead and make some acceleration cards and throw those in sort of the bottlenecks of this processing system, which is the Inferium to Prudentium, because we're doing hundreds, if not thousands, of those operations. And you can see over here we have additional operations running in parallel with those. So it's working, and it's doing it pretty quickly. And we can continue to add acceleration cards to those. I think they hold 4. So let's see where we are on this. It still takes a while because it's a lot of operations. While that's running, let's go ahead and go downstairs and look at our power setup. So as you can see, we have 2 generators running now, and they're easily keeping up with this. And our max power usage is now 500-600 RF per tick, depending on what's going on. This probably spikes up quite a bit when we're running all our machines over there because they're burning a fair amount of power now, and I should turn that off because we don't really want to limit our transfer rate. I did set this to high priority. I don't remember if I did that last time or the time before, and set this one down. So I'm surprised this is using any power at all, actually. That's odd. I would think that this would easily be able to keep up because we're outputting 10,000 RF from this, or 10,000 micro infinities. That is odd. It's odd that this is using any power at all. And now, of course, it's stopping. So, anyhow, we have plenty of power for our needs for quite a while. So let's see if our recipes are done. They are. There's all our Supremium armor cores. So we should be able to go ahead and make all our Supremium armor, I believe. We have everything we need. There's our helmet. And our body armor. And our legs. And our feet. And we have all our armor. So there is a charm slot on all these pieces. And if we look at charms, there are a bunch of different, there's a blank charm, but there are also charms that add abilities to the armor. And we can, prevent wither, poison, fire damage, and each piece of armor can take 1 charm. I think each can only take 1 charm. Yeah, we can add 1 charm to each piece. And I haven't really decided which charms I want to put in here. Like the speed charm sounds really appealing, but the increased speed you get from that is just insanely fast, so I'm not sure it's really useful. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out which of these I really want. Some of these are just for tools. Like these are the ones that we really care about. Probably fire resistance and wither resistance are good. And absorption. Those are probably 3 of the ones that I'm going to apply. Anyhow, I'm going to put this armor on because this gives us creative flight. And flight is good. So, I don't remember when I did the portals. I think I did those the episode before. But we did make the mining dimension portal, and we did make the deep dark portal. Right there. And eventually I am going to go through and do an exploration in the deep dark. I want to make sure I'm ready for that. Making the armor was a good first step. Right now I am going to take a minute and figure out what I want to do next. I think I want to go ahead and set up the processing we need for this next level kit, which means we need to make cryothium dust. We can make everything else in this. I did make an auto crafting recipe for the electrum gear, and we can make signalum already. If we look in our interface terminal, there is our signalum. Oh, that's energetic. Oh, maybe we can't make signalum. Huh. I thought I had made that. Let me double check this. That is, yes, signalum. Okay. Let us look at signalum since we're going to have to make this at some point. We can make it from essence, or we can make it from the alloy smelter by combining 3 copper, 1 silver, and 10 redstone. I'm almost thinking making the seeds is probably easier. So, alright, I'm going to go away and figure out what I'm going to do next, and I'll be right back. Okay, I figured out how I'm going to do some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just set up an auto crafting recipe for the signalum we're going to need. I was going to do seeds, but we don't need tons and tons of signalum, so I'm just going to do a recipe. We can craft it on demand, and it'll give our alloy smelter something to do. So there's a combination of stuff that makes 4 signalum. We now have the recipe for it, so we should just be able to request signalum, and it's going to craft 4 because it's only 1 past the recipe, and we start that, and it shouldn't take a terribly long time because one of the other upgrades I did was I put an octaditic capacitor in our alloy smelter. Alloy smelter's not the fastest machine, but there we go. It's producing. So, we can make those whenever we need them. The next part of this kit, however, is a little more complicated. We need to make cryothium dust, which is just an auto crafting recipe, but it means we need snowballs, and we need to make blizz powder, and the easiest way to make blizz powder is with a fluid transposer, which also needs snowballs, and it needs this essence of knowledge. So over here we already have a setup that does essence of knowledge. So this is the setup we're going to use, not this one in particular, but I'm going to go ahead and set it up downstairs. So let's make snowballs. There are a couple of ways we could do this. We could do snowball chickens, but that would be cheating. So we are going to use the glacial precipitator, which just turns water into snow. It can also turn water into, I believe, ice and snow blocks, but we're just going to use it to make snow. So we need a bunch of stuff for this. Oops. Let's look at this again. We need Invar. Invar we can make. Wow, we need Invar. Let's just go ahead and make 20 Invar, just to have it. We need a machine frame. We need copper gears. I thought we could make copper gears. Oh no, we don't need copper gears. We need Invar. We need the reception coil. So I'm just going to make a bunch of these. And we need a piston, which we can craft. Right? We can. And I'm just going to make 10 of those, just to have them. And those are really fast because they're just an auto crafting recipe. So I think by now we should have everything we need. We do. So I'm going to set that up. That's less an auto crafting thing and more a let's just have some snowballs on hand. So I'm going to go back over here where we have the rest of our sort of production side stuff going on and see if I can figure out where to put this. And I think right over here is a decent place because we're going to do something very similar to this. All we're doing is setting this up, giving it some power, and configuring it to make what we need it to make. And it's making snowballs, and it needs a water source. Do we have a water source back here? We do not. Alright, let's make a sink. Maybe we have, oops, I don't want to click on that. I want to open this. Let's see if we have what we need to make a sink. I don't think we do, so I might have to make some terracotta. Oh, we do. Oh no, we don't. We don't have terracotta and we don't have water. I will go upstairs and make this really quickly. And we should just be able to make this. We can. And before I go back downstairs, let me make sure that I actually have all the pipes I need? I'm pretty sure I do. We have energy conduits. We have fluid conduits, which is what I was worried about. Let's look at our inputs here. I think we're going to input water from this side. Yeah, that should work. So all we need is one pressurized fluid conduit. We can just extract, always active, insert, and this is already making snowballs. And really, that's all we have to do. And I believe these are all extract on brown. So if I just set this to extract on brown, snowballs are going to start coming out of here, and because we don't have a storage drawer, they are probably going to end up in here. Maybe? I just want to wait and make sure I see snowballs go by here. Oh, they're not going to go anywhere because we don't have a storage drawer. They're just sitting here. So let me take these. I will go stick these in one of the storage drawers in here. And that will give us snowballs in our system. And yeah, sure, we can stick them here. We don't really need that many snowballs. 8 stacks should be plenty, and this should start filling with snowballs shortly. Filling with snowballs shortly? No? Extract always active. You're definitely not pulling snowballs out. Redstone disabled. Ah. That'll do it. We actually have to set the output on this machine. So now we should go over here and have our snowballs being made. And that is getting us a step closer to what we need. Yep, we have a couple stacks in there already. So the next step of this process is we need the fluid transposer and a magma crucible. And the fluid transposer is here. Relatively easy to make. Except, of course, we don't have any of the stuff we need. Machine frames. I think I can autocraft these. We can. I'm just going to make 10 of them. Or maybe not 10 of them. How about if I make 5? I'll have to set up a tin crafting recipe. So we have our fluid transposer. We have, I think we have most of it. What did we miss? We're missing glass? Really? You don't require specific glass, do you? No, it's any glass. We're completely out of glass. And you can see glass production's faster because we upgraded our redstone furnace. And now we need the magma crucible. And the magma crucible, we need nether brick. Yeah, we're just going to need the nether brick. So nether brick we should just be able to make, I think. We can, and that should give us our magma crucible. Okay. So we're going to go down and set this up for auto crafting because I think we can do multiple recipes with this. However, we have to do a setup. Oh, and by the way, it's almost Christmas here, even though this is going to be going out on the channel much later in January. So, Merry Christmas belatedly. We're going to have to do a setup like this because we're going to be pumping the materials we need to make the cryothium. The materials we need to make the Blizz powder actually come from 2 machines. We need to make the essence of knowledge from solidified experience, and we need to pump in the snowballs that we need to make the bliss powder. So what we do is the same thing we did here. We pump the 2 sets of materials into the chest, and we use a filter to split them and send them to the appropriate machines. So that means I may have a chest. Let's see if we have a chest in here. We do. I really only need one, so let's just do that and stick these back. And we're going to need some item conduits. And I've made this difficult on myself because it's going to be hard to get back and forth around here. Except I have flight now, so it's not going to be difficult. I'll have to remember that I have flight. So I am going to set this up like so. And I'm going to use my wrench to disallow that connection because we don't want materials crossing between these machines. Oh, and I can't quite get out of there, can I? Alright, I'm just going to break a passage around here. For now. I think we have plenty of channels. Let me see if I have an ME interface. That's not going to show in here. I really need to make myself a portable a network crafting terminal for A2. Because I do have ME interfaces in here, I am sure. So we just need one of those. And we're doing the same thing we did here. And of course I need cables too. Cables I probably have somewhere. Do I? Was I smart enough to keep cables in here? I was not. So we are going to put our ME interface here. We're going to cable this up. And this is where our recipe for our bliss powder is going to go. So we need to put our devices here. And our devices are the fluid transposer and the magma crucible. So the fluid transposer, I don't know. I think we just want to do this. And we want to do this. And we're not taking anything out of you, so we can just... we can turn that off. All we need is power here. You we're going to extract, always active. And so this we're going to fill with our experience. This is where our snowballs are going to go. And this is where our bliss powder is going to come out. And let's make sure we're going to do that. And we're going to do this. And we're also going to do the back as input. So we're accepting input from the right, which is the magma crucible, from the back, which is the chest back there, and we're sending all our output to the top. Now, we have to figure out how much this is actually going to take. So let's get some snowballs. And let's get some solidified XP. And what I need to figure out is how much solidified XP we take to make one bliss powder. And I think it ends up being like, well, I'm going to do them one at a time. And again, we can upgrade these machines to make them faster. It is not one. Oh wow, that's incredibly slow. Let's just see if this actually produces what we want it to. And hopefully they're not going to just get sucked out too fast for us to see. Let's just turn this off for now. Okay, so 2 snowballs. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. It's some weird ratio, isn't it? Let's see what it says. It's 200 millibuckets. Let's see what solidified XP in the magma crucible gives us 160 millibuckets. So we have to do some kind of batch operation. We need 200 millibuckets of essence of knowledge each. Solidified XP gives us 160 millibuckets. So if we do 5 essence of knowledge, that gives us 800 millibuckets, which is enough to make 4 crafts, which is 8 snowballs. So 8 snowballs and 5 5 solidified XP will give us 4 bliss powders. So that is a crafting recipe we need to put together. I'm going to have to make sure these are empty before we start actually crafting this stuff. And I'm definitely going to have to upgrade this machine because it is way, way slow. Both of those are very slow machines, actually. So let's go ahead and do that part. We have the kits we need already. Whoops. That is not what I want. I want these. And I want some augments. No. We do that all the time. Let's go ahead and just make... Oh, we have 4 augments already. Let's go ahead and augment these machines up. I'll have to look. There might be specialty augments we can use on these that are going to be more effective. And as usual, we have to stepwise upgrade these. And that's running a bit faster now. It's not super fast, but it is running faster. And I think that should give us everything we need. 8 snow, which is 4 crafts. 5 solidified experience, which gives us 800 millibuckets, which is 4 crafts. And 4 bliss powder. That is our crafting recipe. And that is a processing recipe. So we do this. We do this. And that gives us this. We encode that recipe. And I'm going to go downstairs and stick this in the right machine to make sure, to make sure it goes in the right chest. Once there's one in there, it's easy to spot them. But we do have several chests with this kind of setup, so I want to make sure we can find the right ME interface. So we stick this pattern in here, and now I need to make sure that these machines are empty. So that has 160. So what I need to do is put 4 more in here. You can see our upgrade really sped that up. That is 800, so we need 8 snowballs. This is pretty slow. But now this machine is completely empty. This machine is completely empty, which is sort of our default start state. So let's go see if our crafting recipe actually works. So let's take our bliss powder that we've made. While we're testing out, we're going to craft a bliss powder, which is going to actually make 4 because we're multiplying our crafting recipe. We start this, and again, it's going to take a little while because that fluid transposer is not particularly fast. Oh, we're not done yet. I'm dumb. we need some item filters. And we need to set up the inputs from the chest to the machines, because we only did a halfway job on this. Because we have the materials in here, but they're not going anywhere. So we need to... One of these is going to filter on... Oops, and I just did both of those, so we're going to do this. And that's how you erase a filter, is you just stick it through there. And this. So that is going in here. This is insert. And just make sure I did this right. I did. And you're never extracting. And you are also insert. And you are only inserting snowballs. And you never extract. And then you are always active. So now we're going to empty out our chest. As soon as I set the inputs on this correctly. So the chest is empty. The chest is empty. All right, you were just working. Why are you not working? Oh, because I was dumb. I closed. There we go. Now everything is working. Now everything is flowing. This is what happens when you play Minecraft without enough coffee. Okay. So, yeah, we're down to 6 snowballs already. So this is working. If we go upstairs and look at Blizz Powder, we will have Blizz Powder in our system once again because we just auto-crafted it. There's 2. There's more coming. There's 3. So this is working. And now we can do our cryotheum recipe, which is 2 Blizz Powder plus a snowball plus redstone to give us 2. That is just a crafting recipe. We pop that in one of our ME interface molecular assembler setups, and now we can make the next step, which is our signalum kit, because now we can make signalum, we can make cryotheum dust, and we can make electric gear. So we can autocraft this if I have any patterns, which I do. We can stick this up here, and same thing, we're going to stick it in this one. So kits, just make sure that it all works. I'm going to go ahead and let's craft 6 of these, because I'm going to immediately apply these to our machines downstairs. And they are not super fast because we have to smelt the alloys we need to, we have to smelt the signalum, which is not particularly fast. But it is clearly working. We can see that our crafting recipes are just chugging along. And signalum is, in fact, our bottleneck. So, I think we're probably at a good place to stop. We have upgraded a bunch of stuff today. I am going to take these upgrades and apply them to some more machines downstairs. We also have our cool armor of flying, which is also a much better defense. In fact, I'm going to see if I can find something to kill. Like this guy right here who's just been... Come here. Come here. You know you want me. Yeah, he doesn't even hurt us really anymore. And we'll be even in better shape once we get our absorption on. So bang, 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 bang. And you can see these machines instantly gain a whole bunch of RF capacity. And if we go over and look at our capacitor and our power system before we leave, pretty sure we're not going to see a whole lot of difference because everything's idle once it fills up. Yeah, we're actually using less power right now than we were before because nothing is crafting. Our generators are burning at like between 0 and 1 millibucket. That's odd that we get this blinking lighting effect on our pipe there. I guess that's the ethylene going through. That's kind of annoying. I'm glad I stuck this all off in the basement. Our tanks are all full, so clearly our system is easily keeping up with the production. We have plenty of wheat here, we have plenty of wheat here, and we have plenty of wheat. Let's make sure we have plenty of wheat in the system. So we're in good shape on power. So this is definitely a good place to wrap up. I am going to figure out what we're going to do next time. Maybe we'll go take a look at the deep dark and die horribly in darkness. Thanks as always for watching. If you liked what you saw, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell if you want to receive notifications when new videos go out, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.